on how to do it.
But anyway, it's
We'll see what they learn tonight. Now, my kids are meeting with a client of mine. He was talking about evicting a tenant, and I asked the kids, there was a lot more that went along in the meeting about apartment operations and so forth. And I asked Ryan when we got home, what did you learn about that? He goes, I learned if someone doesn't pay Mr. LeGroux, he takes him to court. So like, oh, this takeaway was kind of funny. Well, that is true. That is.
So are we reporting?
we're ready to go.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. It's Monday, October 13th, 2025. This is Williams Creek Town Council. We have a quorum. Town council members this evening that are present are Matt Hills, Michael Warnke, and Matt Neff. We also have the clerk treasurer, Bob Perrin, with us. The council for the town, Trent Stanifer from Taft, and Marshall Casper, the head of our police force. So we'll call the meeting to order. The agenda for the meeting has previously been posted, including on the town's website. The first order of business is review and approve the minutes of the meeting of August 11, 2025. So Bob had previously distributed draft minutes. Are there any comments or edits to those drafts?
No,
Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
motion to approve. I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes of August 11 are approved. Were there minutes of the public hearing, Bob, on?
Yeah, I mean, it was
September
nothing,
15th?
no public showed up, so we didn't have a meeting. So
Okay.
I did post that on the website though.
So the budget was posted as required
Yeah, it was
Under state law.
advertised
and the hearing was convened. No one showed
No
up.
one showed up.
Okay,
Yep,
right.
for the 30th year in a row.
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
All right. Well, that takes us into financial reports. Bob, do you want
yes, I distributed September and there's absolutely nothing of any significance out of the ordinary. That is the month. We're okay cash wise, and we will be through the end of the year once we get our property tax money at the end of December. So at any rate, I've got nothing to point out in the financials. If anyone has any questions about the results.
I do not.
One question I had to do with Zelle payments. There were two payments by Zelle, via Zelle.
Yeah, I use Zelle to pay certain individuals, but I use bill pay within Chase's app to pay vendors,
Okay,
more serious vendors. But if it's just it's an individual who's doing some work for us, I just use Zelle.
so I think the Zelle payments were to you. Is that how you pay?
Oh, that's if I have to have a reimbursement, yeah, or anyone else for that matter. If I'm doing cash reimbursement,
Okay,
I just use Zelle. It's the simplest thing. People don't even, well, I guess they have to be signed up for Zelle, but if they are, it just automatically gets deposited in their account. They don't have to do anything. So,
okay.
and I don't have to write any checks.
Yep.
I don't use a lot fewer stamps these days.
That's nice. And then the proposed ordinance to adopt the 2020 budget.
Yes, I have that here, and let me read it into the record. It's ordinance 2025-03 for appropriation of tax rates. Be it ordained that by the town of Williams Creek Town Council, that for the expenses of Williams Creek civil town for the year ending December 31st, 2026, the sums herein specified are hereby appropriated in order to set apart out of the several funds herein named, and for the purposes here specified, subject to the laws governing the same. Such herein appropriated shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year, unless otherwise expressly stipulated or provided by law. In addition, for the purposes of raising revenue to meet necessary expenses of Williams Creek Civil Town, the property tax levies and the property tax rates as herein specified are included herein. Budget form 4B for all funds that must be completed, which I did and submitted. I'll submit it after this is signed in the manner prescribed by DLGF. The ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval by the town of Williams Creek Town Council. Just to go over the funds, the general fund, we were adopting a budget of 147,817, with the tax levy being $130,402 of that. That gives an adopted tax rate of 0.0996, which is slightly higher than it was last year. And the reason for that is the assessed value is slightly less. So they're whatever's going on with the state. I hope to get the same amount of funds we got for this year, but we won't know that until it goes through the state and they tell us what we can have. So local roads and streets adopted budget of 15,020, and MVH at 21,425 for a total adopted budget of 184,262. Again, of which 130,402 is the adopted tax levy. So that's the property tax. So we will see what we end up with. But this is the budget that we're adopting. So what I need is I need a motion to approve this ordinance in a second.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion's carried.
Motion carries.
So you have to make the next motion, and I'll second the next, yes.
Get a trade.
Figure it out.
Yes, exactly.
And we need to sign off on this, that is it.
Yeah, next year, maybe.
Any other topics for discussion, Bob?
Not on the finances, no.
Okay. Security report, Martha Casper.
Nothing, excuse me, September, really nothing. Nothing going on, knock on wood. We've got the one flock camera up and running. I have set that on an alert, so that I get it on my phone if there's a hit vehicle goes by, like if IMPD's got a stolen vehicle or when they're tracking or something. And I've left the app running and hoping not to get anything at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, but we haven't got any hits at all, anything going by the one at Willow Springs.
Okay.
The second license plate LPR camera, which we talked about earlier, we were gonna put on a solar pole there on the northeast corner of Forest and Morningside. Had a Zoom meeting with Flock. According to them, there's not enough sunlight there in order to put the solar application. So temporarily, I say temporarily, maybe for a while, we're gonna put the second Flock camera where our camera is there in the triangle. That'll pick up anything coming into the town off of College, going west on Forest. Now, if anybody turns on Morningside and goes north, we're not gonna catch it. And then talking to them, they put a request in for the city to give them access to the power pole at College and Forest. According to them, that road goes relatively quick, should take 3 to 6 months. So, and historically with the city, so we're waiting for that to happen. We're still also waiting for them to get the installation done on the second one, which I haven't heard. I mean, you sent that email, I still haven't heard anything back from them other than, yeah, we agreed on location and waiting for them to install.
They said it would be installed this month.
Yeah, well,
We'll see.
yeah. Bob needed the specs on the camera,
With the AC.
yeah, the VAC. They, after a second request, finally provided what we needed, I think what you needed
I
on
got
that.
that. Yep.
Bernard Mangum, who was the guy that I brought on, he lasted 2 days going through FTO. His wife was involved in a serious accident. She is now at home, in pretty bad shape, so he basically had to resign from us. I've got another Nick Serban that is back from me. He was, IMPD retired, was, I'm gonna call it active guard reserve with the Air Force Security Police, and then retired from the Air Force Reserve and went to federal law enforcement up at Grissom. He just retired basically from that. So I'd like to bring him back on in the town, which Nick lives right up the road here, so he can pick up these hours, some of these hours and stuff that Manningham that I was gonna use for him. David Loyal won't be back till December. He's still having some issues with his shoulder after his shoulder surgery. I'm getting better at saying that. He just doesn't feel comfortable coming back yet. So, but he should be back on December's calendar, I hope.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, this EJ is working a lot.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's, I wanna put a stop to that as much as possible.
Yeah, it's gonna burn him out.
Yeah, I wanna get Nick on 2 or 3 days a week and then have Loyal pick up
Mhm.
back to us 2 or 3 days, whatever he wants. So,
On the license plate readers, so have we made any progress in sharing the data or getting on the entire system?
yes, but I don't know what. I mean, so basically what happens is all the jurisdictions will put in a request to have access to our camera, which basically I just go through and approve all of it.
Mhm.
I know IMPD had no alerts on that one, so to say that anybody's accessed it to look at any type of, video, I don't know. Now, most of it is set up so that if they do need to get a copy of the video, they have to request it and then we just approve it and they can pull it.
Mhm.
Going back to patrols, Al, do you have enough manpower to cover our the schedule that we've agreed upon?
Yeah, but again, it's burning EJ out quite a bit and stuff, and then, I'm kicking over some, a little bit more. Probably starting next summer, I'll be over here a lot more. Pick up probably 2 or 3 days a week,
Okay,
so.
but the new guy, what is it, David?
Nick Servant, Mangum was gonna pick up 2 or 3 days a week. But no, not now, so I'd like to bring Servant on, the way. We're set up, I mean, I can appoint them, but I'd much rather wait until tell the board what's going on and get your approval to bring them on.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure we've got enough manpower to cover the patrols that we've agreed on.
If I put Servant on, that'll give me Servant, EJ, and David Loyal, and myself.
Okay,
So that would give us enough, and then I can start backing off on, like Loyal was working 3 days a week. Between him with Loyal, Servant, and EJ, I can cut that down a little bit, so we're not burning any one person out that much.
okay. Any ordinance violations that we ought to talk about?
No, we've had that issue with, of course, down by you and stuff, asked to move. I know the one time when EJ come out, by the time he got there, they were gone already.
Yeah.
The only one that I've had, and of course, it was pretty much a warning. Again, homeowner didn't tell contractor, 6 p.m. And driving through at 7 o'clock, I heard a chainsaw. And it was, I can't remember what the tree company was now. They're right there on 71st Street. Ping, is that right? Ping.
There is a.
Yeah, I think it's Ping on 71st Street. Nobody told them about the ordinance, so they packed up and left. They said they'd come back the next day.
Okay. All right, thanks for that update. Any other questions for Al?
I was just gonna ask, do we know yet if the new resident in the town whose high profile has his own private security or there's anything associated with that? I heard rumors of that and I just didn't know if that was true and if so, how we might be able to.
I haven't heard anything, but if you remember prior to the last one, when they held a party, they would hire off-duty IMPD as their security. And that's the only time we really had a headache, because when the party got too long, we went up there, they wanted to argue the fact that the city ordinance says one thing and they would take care of it, and we had to remind them they were within our town. Which didn't go over real well. In fact, one of them called the sergeant on me one night, but
Really?
When was that? How long was that?
several years ago.
Oh, no, this is a new resident.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That one, but other than, no, I haven't heard anything.
Okay, I was just curious if that,
Is that the resident who wants to install a new gate?
I have not
That
heard
is
that.
driveway, is that, we talking about, on
Lindsay's,
right?
The Lindsay's old
Lindsay's
house.
house, right?
He can,
Teagle
Your
house,
house.
yes. I haven't heard anything about it.
Oh, that's what they want to do, right?
I didn't realize that was the house. I saw the address, but I didn't really.
Yeah, and I'm gonna send that architect, whoever he is, so I've learned more about that map, Indy. That the right of way is almost dead nuts, but the location of the streets, you shouldn't count on those at all. So you shouldn't be measuring from the side of the road based on whatever. You should be measuring from the center line of the right of way to half the width of the right of way, and that'll tell you where the right of way ends on people's property.
So is it 14 feet from the center of the road?
No, I don't think so. I think it's like 30 feet.
It's also different on different streets.
Yeah.
It is different on different streets.
So what, they want to install a gate in the right of way?
Well. They wanted to install a gate, and so I asked the question, is it going to be, is it gonna impact on the right of way, install it in the right of way? And at this point, he doesn't think it will, because I don't know that he knows where the right of way is. So we need to bring that to his attention. I'll make another.
Okay. All right, well, let's turn to old business, very successful fall social. Michael, thank you for all your hard work there. We had a record number of people. We had 85 RSVPs. Not everybody made it, but I think we're probably around 80 people.
Sure.
It's great turnout.
Well, I saw the final tally on the wine list, so it sounded like there was quite a bit of wine consumed at the party.
Yeah, there's a fair amount.
They were spilling it all over.
Yeah. Well, I will say, as for the record on the social, that the cooks had graciously post-party agreed to handle all the wine on their own dime and only asked for reimbursement for the food. So I thought that was kind of them.
Very kind of them.
And I sent you Bob the reimbursement amount for that. I just sent today.
Okay, I see it here.
I emailed it to you
Okay.
today.
All right.
And they had some cook group employees there that were serving and acting as hostesses, and it was very nice.
Yeah.
They did a wonderful job. That was great. I did a brief presentation on the strategic plan. Those are the placards over there that I use. I got a couple of questions. No tremendous pushback from anybody, although subsequently I have heard that there are a couple of people that have questions about the design of the intersections. I did disclose the challenge grant and had one donor, actually I had two people commit to contributions at the party. One was a $10,000 contribution and one was a $50,000 contribution. So that's 60,000 and 60,000 a match. So it's a pretty good start for our total $1 million bogey.
Is that going to the foundation?
That was gonna be my question.
Yes.
Yeah. So is that what we decided is the most prudent source, is to have the foundation just collect initially all the proceeds and then have the foundation, I know this is on the agenda, have the foundation trustees then disseminate accordingly based upon. Okay.
That way it's clear that A, it's deductible, and B, it's expressly purposed for whatever the town of Williams Creek needs, can't be diverted anywhere else like the city.
And how do we go about now finalizing that donation from them?
Well, I got an email from CICF about how you make contributions, so I need to follow up with them. I wanted to have this meeting tonight, just to get on the record formally that we are doing this campaign.
Right.
Record that in the minutes, and then I will follow up with them.
It's it's a link that she sent us, and it works. I mean, it's cif.org/give-now, and it goes right to our account. So I should have mentioned this when we talked about the financials, but as of yesterday, we had $6,020.11 in that foundation. We've been that total of $4,250 for donations. That's since the end of 2018. So we've made about 42% of our money in 7 years. So in a rough number, that's about 6% a year. So
Okay. So while we're on the topic of the capital campaign, I think the key to being successful here is to get some leadership gifts. The $50,000 gift is very generous. I don't know if I can get anybody to go higher than that, but I'm thinking about going around and just sitting down with some people that have a lot of capacity and ask them to consider something more. See how that goes.
How do you define, what's your thought with the leadership gift? Would there be, what's associated with that in terms of anything as a gift or a reward for that amount? No, okay. I don't think there has to be. I was just curious if that.
Yeah, I mean, you might want to designate a leadership circle or something like that if we get a couple of really high donors. But in terms of naming a bench or anything like that, I haven't really given that any thought.
Has there been any negative feedback that you've received via email? I know someone initially had some real problems with one of the circles. I think they'd already expressed that in one of the meetings, and they indicated they wanted to figure out how do we show our disapproval of this, and they were going to, I just direct them to the town email address and to see if anything came through on that.
Nothing that I've seen.
Okay.
And I got another resident that texted me the following morning, and I've also directed them to say, share all your feedback to the town council. Same thing, negative feedback on the roundabouts.
Okay. So that's all I heard too, is one negative about the roundabouts. You heard one negative, okay?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so, but they're not roundabouts. That's the first thing I said in my comments.
Right,
They're
they're
not
they're
roundabouts.
circles, right there.
They're traffic diverters.
Yeah, correct, understood.
Yeah, but, we're not, it's not like we're wedded to the design here. It's a concept and we're interested in feedback. If somebody has a real heartburn about it, I'd like to hear about it. But if somebody disagrees with trying to slow down traffic in the town, I think the answer to that is, well, we've had multiple public hearings and surveys and the sentiment, the vast majority of residents want to slow down traffic. Then the question becomes, okay, how do you do that? And maybe there's a better way, but this is, part of the process. And if somebody feels strongly about it, I'd be happy to talk to them.
I spoke to a few people through the function, and I think the biggest concern that I heard was that they wouldn't just change the look, but they would change the feeling of the town and its stated goal of being a serene kind of a place that would make it look a little more commercial. And that was from 2 or 3 different people. I didn't mention to them to tell the council, but because I believe we're going to have a public hearing on all that anyway, right? We said at our June meeting that before any decision was made or where we're going to go, we'd have a public hearing. So we'd have to advertise that.
I think that's fair. I think I agree with that. I think what we said to the people who were sat here about the roundabout is we wouldn't do the roundabout without engaging everyone in the town first. We didn't specify not necessarily a public hearing, but
We did.
We did. Okay.
Yeah, it was in the minutes.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, I'm not objecting to it. But we definitely said we're not going to just do this until everyone in the town has an opportunity to express their approval or disapproval concerns about it.
Yes. What is the email that they should use to provide feedback on things? Is it
I think on stuff like that, it's probably just town
town
council
council?
at williamscreek.org.
That's what I directed it to.
Yeah.
The other one we have set up is if they see trash in the town or whatever, then that comes to me.
Let us know.
They're gonna report us.
So I've gotten 2 emails. Since we set it
I
up.
have nothing to say to the word about trash.
That's actually kind of related to the next topic, Bob, which is town maintenance, the Morningside underbrush. Have we done anything about that?
Yeah, it's it was cleared out. Yeah, and
I thought last time we talked about it, it was partially cleared out, but it had not been completely.
yeah, and actually we used your reference to take 2 loads.
Oh, you did
Oh,
recently?
yeah, well, within the last 6 weeks, maybe.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
And then, Michael, I think you were gonna talk to residents on Ridge just to make sure they understood their obligations, to keep that area policed. Did you do?
I have not,
Okay,
and because I think it only pertains essentially to us burdens and helds, which is easy enough to have that conversation. I just have not had it at this
Okay.
point in time.
okay, but you're still.
Yeah, I
you're
can.
still gonna be able to do that?
Yeah. I mean, part
And
of
also the home on the end,
the home on the the Huntingtons.
Huntington's.
Huntington's too, yeah.
So it'd be the 4.
I mean, at this point in time, like I drove through there yesterday again. At this point in time, of course, once you get to this stage of the season, everything just falls off, so there's not really much growth there and it impedes the roadway anyways. And so I haven't had that discussion just because the time of the year doesn't really necessarily warrant it, but I think in the springtime, we certainly can engage that. I'm happy to do it before then. I'm not curbing it, but.
No, I just, as the opportunity presents itself, I think it'd be a good conversation to have. And really, the biggest concern was that fallen tree that was kind of
Was lodged.
stuck
in the
between
tree,
two
right?
branches or something.
Right.
Was that taken out?
I don't know.
I think it's still there,
I think what we were gonna do, because that would take more equipment than just somebody coming in with a chainsaw. But if the next time we had anybody, any arborist or whatever come in to trim in the right of way, that we'd include that one
Okay.
in that.
Okay,
whose responsibility would that one be, the homeowner or the right, or is it?
No, I mean, it's, if the tree's in the right of way, I mean, the heavy maintenance of trees is the town's responsibility. I think that's what
Yeah,
council agreed upon.
cause I don't know, I think that one is, probably behind Burton's house, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And so if I'm gonna have that conversation with them or with myself or with anybody, I think that would be the other point that would get asked is, okay, we're responsible for cutting brush back there. What are,
But trees that are imminent threat to traffic flow or whatever, next to the right of way in the roads, that's the town's responsibility, so.
okay,
Yeah, I think we had said that if the tree were to fall into the right of way, it's ours. If it falls into their property, it's not our responsibility, but in the case that it's in danger, the town should probably
Yeah,
be the one to remove it.
so it's not worth, well, I thought it was where it's planted.
I think it's where it falls.
I thought it was where it's rooted.
I think well,
Well, if your tree falls on your neighbor's yard,
It's
it's on
your
their
neighbor.
home insurance.
yeah, exactly. Yes,
So if it falls into the right of way, it's on us. If it falls back into your property,
Okay,
I think that's what we had discussed.
that's the law, I
that
believe.
sounds right.
The law.
So you're gonna
I can't
have
remember.
that tree,
we talked
you're
about
gonna
that.
have it on the list.
It's
of-
on the list, yeah,
Returning project.
if we do.
We should probably, before Michael has his conversations, we should probably establish where the right of way is along Morningside. So that we can tell those homeowners.
Well, we've looked at it, Bob and I looked at it on the mapping, and it is quite a bit in from the roadway effectively.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that tree's in the right of way,
I'm sure.
but we could measure it off.
I'm sure it's
After
in
the
the right.
poison ivy dies off.
Yeah,
I'm
because-
not going in there.
Because in that area, it comes in quite a bit to the west from, that's why I didn't even think, that's why I thought it was town property, because the lot lines back there are so far in from Morningside, our direction. That was my initial understanding, but, anyways, I don't know what the distance was, but Bob and I looked at the map, and we've seen it, and it comes in, I don't know, I'm guessing maybe 30 or 40 feet from the road.
Really,
Oh,
that
really?
far?
Yeah, it's pretty substantial.
That's all the way to that creek. And down.
Yeah, behind my house, our right of way ends on our side of the creek and on one side of it. Doesn't even extend all the way past the creek on one
Oh,
side.
wow. Okay.
So it comes in quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's a big distance. The majority of that area is right.
I mean, if you'd like, I'll, now that I know, I got confirmation about the street, the edges of the streets and all that, now I just take a look at where the right of way is. And do a quick measurement and let you know.
Let me know.
I can do that.
Perfect, do that. If you can do that, Bob, before I mention it, I'll talk to.
I will do that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Heather's not here tonight. I don't know how we're doing on the update of the town directory. We made an announcement at the social. We'll have to ask when she gets back from Europe for an update on that. Tree planting program, is it next week when they come out?
We have 10. We're gonna do the final markings this week, coordinate with all the homeowners, make sure that there's no issues, we can move it left and right or whatever, but I've already kind of checked. But there will be 10 planted. To get 3,
This is all along Forest.
all on forest.
Okay.
And this is probably, I think this would probably be the last bit on forest, and then so next year we'll just have to think about
Where?
where we want to go, and maybe we don't do 10, maybe it's 4 to 6, I don't know. Let's see. Along with tree planting program update, the window opened up for us to apply for a grant for the to get a 50/50 grant on a canopy cover so we can do the tree inventory. So I'm working through that application with our contract arborist. So we should have that submitted and maybe we'll hear back in the spring. And we'll just hold off on doing that inventory until we get the funds. I don't think it's worth spending 100% when we get half of it back.
Right.
So that apparently opens up every fall. So I'll just continue to look to use that grant where needed. And then the other part on tree planting, Tree City USA, been going through the application. There seem to be a lot more components in it than what they had initially advertised, so it may take me yet another year to finally get it approved. But I'm going through the application. I'm gonna go in, even if we get denied, then they'll at least give me the feedback of what final pieces we need to do. Because before it said, establish a council, make a notice of Arbor Day, and then I go in, they said, please upload all of your tree ordinances. Didn't know that was a requirement, so I may be coming to the council with the minimum tree ordinance, but we'll get there.
Yeah, you know what, my reaction is that's not a bad thing. It wouldn't hurt us to have a tree ordinance.
So I'll probably take Carmel's as kind of baseline and then fix it to, like we've talked about with the right of way. There could be some nuances here and just kind of capture all of that. So I'll start drafting that. Then we should finally get Tree City USA within the next year.
All right, good work, thank you. Christmas decorations, Bob got a quote from the Boy Scouts and Kevin Harrell for the upgraded Christmas decorations like we used last year.
Yes, the Boy Scouts provide the wreaths and the garlands, and the Kevin Harrell has installed that. I have not heard back from him, but this is how much we paid him last year. But I would expect it to be less than that, because in that number, the town purchased the lights, so it should be less than that.
Does he have the lights?
Yeah, it was the store. Correct.
I would make a motion to approve that same. I thought those were the ones on the light poles with all the decor.
Yeah,
The
and
garlands.
at the on the entrances,
Yeah.
main entrances.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Michael, you made a motion.
I made a motion to approve.
Second.
Matt seconds, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Um,
Do you need a holiday? Do you need a Halloween one approval this year? Oh, you got
So I
it.
was gonna put that for new business.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Bob, last year we had some lights that didn't light up because there were power problems.
Yes, that
On the tree.
on the tree itself.
On-
Well, no, it was not
no,
actually,
some of them
no.
were on light poles.
If there were only on that one at Forest and Morningside. And it had to do with the photo cell, I think, and. We had kind of come out and fix that, so it worked. So before I call them out again for $300, let's just plug it. See,
Did Continental do the lights last year on the tree?
no,
Who did that? Do you remember?
that was on the tree, that's Harold.
Oh, that was part of this.
Part of
Okay, so that includes the
Oh, that
lights on the
includes
tree.
it on the
Okay.
tree there, right, on that Norway.
Yeah.
So, let's make sure that he tells us if he plugs a light string in and it doesn't come on, I mean. Because, I was thinking that maybe the light pole at Sycamore and Westwood didn't light up either.
I don't know that.
By your house?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the only reason why I noticed that.
Because some of those outlets that are on the poles, some of them are tied into the photo cell.
Yeah,
And some of them are always on. So it's just a matter of what we're doing there.
so if it's tied to the photo cell, then Continental has to come out and change it.
Yeah, no, they just rewire it.
Oh.
Yeah, change it.
Yeah.
Just a simple
Okay.
task. They just have to bring the bucket truck out.
Well, ask Kevin to make sure that they're all lighted.
Yeah. Actually, I can see the one on the triangle from my living room, so I'll let you know. That's
Okay,
that's my Christmas tree anymore.
all right, new business, I don't think we have any permits that are pending. We touched upon the capital campaign launch. I think it might be good to adopt a formal resolution authorizing the campaign. I'd like to propose that we kick off a campaign for up to $1 million using that $500,000 challenge grant. And purpose would be to execute the strategic plan. So it's not specifically tied to that design roundabout. It's just the general strategic plan objectives. We'll use the roundabouts as talking points, but
It's also not tied to the roundabouts either, right? They are part of the strategic plan, but that doesn't necessarily need to be or is the highest priority, just, right? It could be power lines or whatever. it is.
or trees,
Or trees. Yeah,
speed tables.
yeah.
Yeah, there are a number of priorities in the strategic plan, but the capital campaign would be to support the implementation of a strategic plan.
Should we launch that formally, Matt, as a follow-up to this, like on the website and send the notice out to all the residents, email that
Yes,
as a follow-up to the social, the $1 million capital campaign is underway. We've received a few commitments. If you have any questions about it, or if you'd like to talk to any council member about it, we'd like to get donations, all donations in by the end of the year, or something to try to put some sort of deadline on it if possible.
yeah, somebody asked me at the social whether, how long the campaign would last. And I said, it could be a year, it could be 2 years. But if people are motivated by the deduction, obviously 12/31 is important. In terms of notifying everybody in the town, my hope would be that ideally I could get a couple more big donors to take the lead so that we can say we're already pretty far down the road. But I didn't want to have those conversations until the town council approved the campaign.
And you and I might talk about who some of the targets, or any of us can, who some of the targets need to look like or might look like for some of the leadership gifts,
Yes,
and define that sort of commitment, what that looks like, and approach those particular families or individuals individually, maybe.
yeah, and I mean, if somebody on the town council has a relationship with one of those potential large donors, then by all means, they ought to be the ones to approach them.
Agreed. So, yeah.
We can have that conversation at some point. So anyway, I'd like to make that proposal that we adopt a resolution kicking off the campaign.
So it would be a formal adoption of that it's
Yeah.
officially underway.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I mean, I'll make the motion. Typically chairman doesn't, but I will, if there's a second to that. That seconds it,
Is this a campaign for the town or for the foundation?
the foundation,
So it's for the foundation,
but it will benefit the town,
yes,
exclusively benefit the town.
yes, so should it be the board of the foundation? That
Well, I think
launches it, or should it be the
That's
town
a
council?
fair question. It seems like it's the town that's going to do the effort, the fundraising to benefit the foundation, which will ultimately benefit the town. Because the foundation is not really a foundation.
Yeah,
It's an account,
Bank account.
it's an account at CICF.
yes,
So, that would be my approach.
And to the next point, is it important to note that the funds would be again allocated only based upon the foundation's trustees appointment allocation, which are the town council
With one exception, because remember, we talked about having Mark Pearlstein serve in that capacity, and he has agreed to do that.
Okay.
So but that was gonna be a separate topic. So we've got a motion and a second to launch the capital campaign up to $1 million. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, now let's talk about the account at CICF. Did we ever finally determine who the people are that have control of that account? And you obviously
Is it
do.
named on the account?
I sign in, my name's in there, so do you ever sign in?
I do. I haven't used it, but I do.
Yeah, it doesn't show, when I sign in, it doesn't show board, the makeup of a board or something like that.
We probably would have to go back to the minutes of the meeting at the time we had met at Marine's house, literally, to see who it was. My recollection was I was, but I didn't have, I don't.
That was my recollection, that it was you, Bob, and me.
Yes, and we wanted to find one other.
And we wanted to find one other,
Non-town.
Which we never did at that point in time.
which we hadn't. So I propose that we adopt a resolution tonight that the 4 authorized parties that make determinations about how that money gets dispersed would be Bob, clerk treasurer, Michael, Matt, and Mark Pearlstein.
That would be reasonable, assuming we are the initial three. If we weren't the initial three, then I don't think I could just
I
be
think-
added because of that, right?
Do you ever sign it?
I don't, I couldn't tell you. No idea.
And conversely, I had someone who emailed me and said they would be interested in serving on that,
Oh, really?
on that board for CICF. So I can pass you that name. And maybe you go to 5 and maybe you're not on there. I mean, I think we need to have one or.
Do we
two
need an odd
people.
number? It really matters to like,
No.
do
I don't think it's gonna be.
No, I think the more the merrier.
you want to share who it is now? Or do we need to wait?
Yes, it's Andy Rowe over on
Okay,
Hillcrest.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
He said he wants to get more involved with the town. He thought that might be a way to help.
Oh, good for him. That's nice. I don't know him, but
Mary knows him better than I do. I mean, she sold the house to the Rose. She knows him pretty well. I don't know, mess with the kids are 50 Phil Gray seems like, I don't know, any reason why I wouldn't have any reason why to object to it. I've met him several times. It seems like a great guy.
so why don't we make it 5 people? The 3 of us and Mark and Andy
For now.
for now.
Does that complicate matters for approval? Probably not, because we're not gonna approve anything for a while. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
He's one, thanks Andy for volunteering.
Yeah.
When we have coffee next week.
Yeah, we mentioned your name and you quickly got voted in. Thanks for your involvement. Next thing you know, you'll be on the council.
And by the way, the only way you can resign is when you leave the town.
That's right. That's right. Even if it's feet first, right? So,
Okay, great.
one thing we did determine is that, making a donation to the foundation, you can't specify, there's no way to specify a specific project.
Correct.
So as we go out in the capital campaign, I mean, you might have some people who are really gung ho on some of those things and really hate other things. So
Yeah,
we gotta figure out how we're gonna manage that and like,
well, I mean, that's where I think these 5 people, you know, they would wanna know the donor's intent. Want to do everything they can to accommodate that,
so that's important. We know what their intent is, even though we can't.
if they care, yeah, if they
Yeah,
say
yeah.
absolutely, I want it to go to trees. We'll have it go to trees.
Yeah.
Now, the other question too, on CICF, I've only heard this anecdotally of other accounts, maybe when foundations are bigger, is that they have a fairly large management fee. If it's just a bank account, is it a fairly minimal fee, if any, for us? Because I've heard when they run foundations, they're on the higher end of cost.
That came up when this was back in
Okay.
18, I think, or 19. We asked that question, they asked minimal. I didn't look specifically at it, but, what the fee's been taken out of it, but I can do that, I'll do that.
I mean,
It'd be good to know as we build that balance, you know, is it?
Yeah, it should be noticed in our account, any fees that have come out, and I didn't notice any, I would have noticed that, but. didn't
Yeah, I
notice.
don't remember any kind of a fee,
Yeah.
but if you wouldn't mind checking, we ought to
Yeah.
know that. Okay, revised drainage ordinance, Trent and I have been talking about this, we've had some inquiries. Basically, what I've been telling people is we've suspended that ordinance while we're figuring out what are the implications of this new state law. And Trent and I are of a like mind that some kind of an ordinance that really focuses on the town's right of way, protecting the right of way would be okay under the new state law and would be the appropriate way to go. So I think by our December meeting, we'll have a draft ordinance. We'll come back to talk about that. And then finally, I've gotten complaints about disposal of animal refuse by dog walkers. Believe it or not, people are walking their dogs, getting the dog poop in a bag and then dropping the bag in people's yards.
I've had that happen to me.
I've had it happen to me. And Greg Berger is not happy about it, and so he was reviewing video footage of our security cameras because he wanted to see who was doing it.
I asked him to call me, he never called me on it. Cause I've got to set up I don't want to give him our account to log into, I'll get a temporary account set up for him, but I haven't heard from him, cause he's gonna have to download the app and everything else.
I was thinking residents access our cameras.
Only that, and I can give him not our login, but a specific login for him and then take it out. There's two problems. One, he's gotta have all the information to get to the server and everything else, and then the second thing is, I gotta figure out how to do it, and I've gotta call in the title.
But should we be doing that, giving residents access to the cameras? I don't know. Who has access to?
I mean, you're only gonna confirm that someone did it, that we don't have facial recognition, so I
Well,
don't.
that's what he wanna do is go identify them, but then the other issue that you run into is even if you do identify them. Can we go out and, cite them? I mean, we could cite them for littering.
Where was the bag left that he wants to identify the person?
Broadway,
Broad-
Morningside.
Well, Broad 80th, right there at 80th and Broadway, wasn't it? And Morningside, on Morningside, right there by 80th and Broadway, somewhere
We got a
along there.
camera right there, yeah. But I tell you the truth, it's happening all around town.
Is it?
It's happened in my yard, I've seen it in Perry Griffith's yard, I've seen it in other people's yards. It's kind of hard to believe, and frankly, my guess is it's not town residents.
I would think that might be accurate.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
so,
people come over from Wincombe and other areas and walk their dogs there, which is fine. That's great they do it, but obviously
Right.
don't leave your stuff. So we'd have to identify, well, I think we should, can you access the cameras and figure out who it is? Do we know when, why do we have to have Greg Berger do it?
The problem is I'd have to have a date and time on when it was dropped,
Right.
because the problem is trying to locate something that small off of that camera, depending on where it falls from the camera and everything. It's just like today, I sat sitting there at the triangle and watched in your front yard. She picked it up, green bag,
Yeah.
and I drove around and saw her like 3 other times and still had a little green bag in her hand, so, but if she dropped that in the grass, we'd never see them.
We'd never know, yeah.
We'd never see them
We'd never
again.
see it.
Suppose we could put license plates on the backs of dogs.
you know what they do in New York apartments is if you have a pet, you have to have DNA testing. And if they find fecal matter or urine in elevators, they test it. And you can get kicked out of the building for not cleaning up after your animal.
Only in New York.
Yeah.
We're gonna be leading the charge here, LPRs, DNA testing.
Yeah, all dogs must be registered with the town and DNA tested. By
So I
a
think
town vet.
for starters, I think we ought to do, Al, is you ought to just let the deputies know, if you see somebody do that, call them on it. But I think we'll also come back with a specific ordinance about.
Yeah.
Improper disposal of animal feces.
Yeah, and maybe we just highlight again there, they can either, if you wanna report something like that, just send an email to police@williamscreek.org, right? We get that. If you have something else that's an obstruction up there, you can send it to let us know, just continue to reinforce, we have avenues for you
Send
to
us
contact
pictures.
us,
Send us a picture.
and we'll do what we can.
Yeah.
Consolation is our ordinance has to go to Beech Grove,
Oh, yeah.
rather than downtown where nothing's gonna happen.
It's good, Benny.
Okay, so that'll be on the agenda in December. Al, you wanna talk about Halloween candy?
Yeah, I've got 2 things. One, we talked about it. I've got all those boxes with the town records.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Digitize that, so, and no hurry, because I've been reading them.
Yeah. It's
Oh, yeah.
fascinating, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's,
So it just, I don't know if you remember, if you were all here.
I'm raising it, Dave. You
Yeah, we used to
like
ask-
mentioned it to
It's
me
got like
again
8
about-
boxes of
Right.
documents.
there's 13 boxes and, 13 boxes and then a bunch of ledgers that were even going way back. I mean, some of that stuff, I mean, I don't know if there's any reason to keep some of that, but
We went through that, whatever that was, 15 years ago or whatever, when Dave took possession.
He gave me maps that show sewage lines and.
yeah, there's.
But there were a lot of receipts and things like
Yeah,
that. But we got rid of most of those. Maybe there's still some.
There's still, I mean, I haven't gone through, I just started going through some of the stuff that was on top and,
Yeah.
cause Dave warned me about doing it,
Oh, yeah.
and so I did it anyway.
So,
Do you have this at your country house or your city house?
No, it's here, no,
so you have them now?
yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so here's what I found out. I talked to the Indiana Historical Society. They will scan all of them and digitize them and be a repository for us. Also talked to State Board of Accounts, and we have to notify them where the documents are going. They will take them if we want them to take them, but they will not digitize them, and the accessibility of them will not be as good. So my reaction is we ought to do it State Historical Society. but notify the state. There's a form we have to file about where we're sending our town records.
So it's one or the other of those two things.
I mean, SBOA would only be interested in the financial stuff, really.
I think
State Board of
I think it
Accounts.
was State Board of Accounts or what else would it be? OMB? I talked to somebody who was in charge of state records. Could be state archives.
Probably.
State archives, yeah.
Yeah,
If they,
anyway,
Well,
they told me that you have to file a form, but they said you can send them to the historical society if you want to, you just have to notify us.
Do they give us a digital copy of what they do? Or do we have to pay for that?
No, I think it's available online. I think it's free.
I mean, I haven't had access to it.
wait, the first one, say that again, Matt. The first one was the Historical Society. They will digitize it?
Yes.
And then what do they do once they digitize it?
I'm not sure. I think they still keep the hard copy. But it's a lot easier to get to the digital version at that point.
But they wouldn't, they don't, then at that point in time,
I don't think they destroy them.
destroy them. They would keep them somewhere, which would be accessible
Yeah.
probably during normal hours or something, but.
is that the State Historical Society? or-
Right, down on the canal, downtown Indiana
State,
State
yeah.
Historical Society, yeah.
I would vote to turn them over to them, have them digitize them
Yeah.
and see if we can, they can choose which ones we would maybe want to show on our own website though. Like,
There's-
as long as they're still our essential property and we can utilize them versus just.
The
Yeah.
initial ones you wouldn't wanna advertise.
No, you would not. I've read those.
But some of them might be kind of cool to post,
Yeah.
like,
Original town charter.
Yeah.
yeah, like things that we could select if they can, maybe there's a dozen documents that would be cool to put on our website out of the thousands that they scan. As long as we have the authority and the right to do that once we turn them over, if they still have
Do-
the
do-
property, the
Do
town.
we still own it? I mean, did they say that we still own the documents? Or, cause some of these archival societies say, we'll do it, but we own them. I know Purdue's like that.
I think we still own them. I don't think the state would allow us to give them up.
I mean, whatever we do is better than them sitting in a box in the shed somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So-
Or
yeah.
they're deteriorating.
Right,
Yeah.
so I like that idea. I would, do we need to approve anything pertaining to this matter or just kind of informally?
No, I think we ought to approve it. I'd like to, it's not on the agenda, but since Al brought it up under new business, I propose that that's what we do and have the town council record the minutes that was approved.
I'll make a motion, send it to the Indiana State Historical Society.
Second that.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. That's what we'll do, Al. I'll be in touch with you about exactly how to do
I
that.
said, no hurry, I've been.
Give Al more time to finish reading them.
Yeah.
And then Halloween's on your next.
Yes.
No meetings, right? Yeah, the board approval of purchase for Halloween candy for this year, so.
What dollar amount do you need?
What did we do last year?
Two and a quarter, maybe?
Cause I know everything's gone up, but we had probably last year, even with all the poachers, probably 10 or 15 bars left over,
Yeah,
That's it,
so. 2 and a quarter,
$2.50, whatever.
I'll get the big, make sure you get the big bars, I'll bring you your Snickers.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve a 200, up to 225 in Halloween expenditures by Mr. Casper.
there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, $225, Al.
Shouldn't say much, cause my grandkids come over and poach too, so.
There's a little potbelly sandwich in there now, it's open at nowhere.
I saw that.
Okay, is there any other business come before town council tonight? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Do I hear- we're adjourned. Thank you.
Nice.
Great meeting.
Oh, record.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Stop.
Madison, what you want to chat about?